Have you ever met someone who constantly plays the victim? Someone who seems emotionally fragile, deeply misunderstood, yet somehow leaves you drained, guilty, and confused after every interaction. That person might not be insecure in the normal sense. They may be a covert narcissist. Unlike the classic narcissist, the loud attention-seeking type who openly believes they are superior, covert narcissists hide their ego behind sensitivity, silence, self-pity, or emotional vulnerability. Their narcissism is quieter, but emotionally, it can be just as damaging. A covert narcissist still craves validation, control, admiration, and emotional power. The difference is how they get it. Instead of saying, "I'm better than everyone," they say things like, "No one ever understands me. I guess I'm just a terrible person then. Everyone always leaves me. I do everything for others and nobody appreciates me." At first, this sounds vulnerable, but over time you may notice a pattern. Every conversation somehow becomes about their pain. Your emotions slowly disappear from the relationship, and you begin feeling responsible for keeping them emotionally stable. That is where covert narcissism becomes dangerous, because manipulation does not always look aggressive. Sometimes it looks wounded. One of the biggest traits of a covert narcissist is passive emotional control. Instead of openly attacking you, they may use guilt, silence, withdrawal, sarcasm, or victimhood. If they are upset, they may not communicate directly. Instead, they punish emotionally. They become cold, distant, quiet. And when you ask what happened, they say, "Nothing." But suddenly, you feel anxious, guilty, and desperate to fix things. This creates emotional confusion. You start monitoring their moods, walking carefully around them, trying harder and harder to avoid upsetting them. Another major sign is hidden envy. Covert narcissists often feel deeply threatened by other people's happiness, confidence, success, or attention. But instead of openly admitting jealousy, they may subtly devalue others. For example, if you achieve something important, they may ignore it. If you feel confident, they may make sarcastic comments. If others praise you, they may suddenly act distant or emotionally hurt. Your growth quietly becomes a threat to their fragile ego. And that's the key thing to understand. Beneath the victim mentality, covert narcissists often carry a very fragile sense of self. They need constant reassurance, constant emotional attention, constant validation. But no amount is ever enough. One day they idealize you, the next day they feel disappointed by you. Because they are not relating to you as a separate person, they are relating to how you make them feel about themselves. Many people stay trapped in relationships with covert narcissists because the abuse is subtle. There may be no screaming, no obvious cruelty. Instead, there is emotional exhaustion, confusion, guilt, and the constant feeling that you are slowly disappearing inside the relationship. You may even begin questioning yourself. Am I too sensitive? Am I selfish? Why do I always feel guilty around this person? That confusion is often part of the dynamic, because covert narcissism operates psychologically, not always loudly. Now, this is important. Not every sensitive, introverted, insecure, or traumatized person is a covert narcissist. Real empathy still exists in emotionally wounded people. The difference is accountability. Healthy people can reflect, apologize genuinely, and care about your emotional reality too. A covert narcissist struggles with true accountability because protecting their ego becomes more important than understanding your pain. And over time, relationships with them can leave people emotionally drained, anxious, and disconnected from themselves. The hardest part? Many covert narcissists don't even appear toxic in public. Others may see them as kind, quiet, misunderstood, or deeply emotional, which means when you try to explain your experience, people may not believe you, and that isolation can make the emotional damage even deeper. Understanding covert narcissism is not about labeling everyone. It is about recognizing patterns that slowly destroy emotional safety. Because sometimes the most damaging manipulation does not come from someone who acts powerful. It comes from someone who constantly appears powerless.